Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Today's Saturday, so we're going to obviously take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we're also going to take a look at what's going on in the news a little bit. There's not much, but there is a little bit here. We do have a bill from Arkansas that's protecting the Bitcoin miners in that state, which is great to see. And then we're also going to take a look at the Bitcoin miners, see how they performed this week against Bitcoin. And then lastly, but not least, we're going to take a look at Marathon. Previous all-time high, can it also reach it again this time around when we get into the bull run? And what would it actually take to possibly get to that all-time high? So there's a bunch of numbers in there. We'll take a look at it at the end here. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. So let's get into the markets here. Bitcoin right now is at 27,991. It's up a little bit here, but it's up 0.21%, not much. We are seeing here on the daily chart that Bitcoin has kind of bounced off of the 20-day moving average here. You can see the yellow line right here. And that did that on Monday of last week, which might be a good sign for us. If it bounces again off of this, we may go up. If it goes through it, well, then we might be going down to obviously the 200 weekly moving average, which is this red line here, which is right now at approximately 25,700 and change, give or take a little bit, right? So it's right there. RSI has been kind of flat as well. It's right now at 58. Last time it was back here was actually a little bit lower on price, if you look at it that way. So I think we're looking okay there. If we look at the 4-hour chart on the RSI, we are at 49. Last time we were back here, price was actually a little higher at that point. So we got a little bit of a divergence happening here between the 4-hour, the daily, and the 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, if we look at it as well and get rid of all these, we can see here that the RSI is at 50. Last time it was here at 50 was actually higher in price where it is right now. So we might be coming down, like I said. It all depends on where things end up at, but we have been trading sideways here for quite a while, it looks like now. At least probably, 3 weeks we've been kind of trading sideways here ever since right around Friday, the 17th of March. We've gone up a little bit, but then we've pretty much just traded sideways down and up within this kind of like corridor here between 27,000 and the top of the line here at 28,600 roughly. And we've been kind of bouncing in between that a little bit here. We may be having like a little bit of a triangle formation happening here on it. We'll see where that comes out at. That's all I got right now for Bitcoin as it is. Ethereum is also, let's see, down today. Now it's down 0.55%. So it was down yesterday as well. Down today, it's at 1,854 right now. RSI has come down a little bit here to 58 on the daily. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see it's at 46. Last time it was here, it was actually a little bit lower in price at that point. So that's kind of a good sign there. Maybe we're getting a little bit of a reversal in Ethereum. And then on the 1-hour chart, we can see here that the RSI is at 41. Last time we were back here, and it was actually down a little bit from where it is right now. So, like I said, kind of no man's land right now. No real direction as far as which way Bitcoin and Ethereum really wanting to go. We'll see what happens tomorrow on Sunday and then possibly next week if there's anything that's going to possibly catapult them up higher or drag them down lower. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin here. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well. I don't think there's much changes on that one right now. We can see that the network hash rate is at 338 million terahashes right now on the 7-day average. And on the 1-day average, or 1 day, it's gone back up here to well, there it is, 375 million right now. So we are still trending upwards as it is, okay? So let's get into our first story here, which is going to be on the bill from Arkansas. So bill protecting Bitcoin mining rights passes in Arkansas Senate and House. The Arkansas Data Centers Act is moving now to the governor's office for approval, which is great. It grants crypto miners in the state the same rights as data centers, which is also great. So there won't be any kind of shenanigans, they won't be taxed differently or anything like that. They will be as part of that. So according to the bill, the Arkansas Data Centers Act of 2023 intends to regulate the Bitcoin mining industry in the American state, creating guidelines for miners and protecting them from discriminatory regulations and taxes. Arkansas state legislators quickly passed the bill after it was proposed on March 30th by Senator Joshua Bryant. Shows that the Act's status page. The document recognizes that data centers create jobs, pay taxes, and provide general economic value to local communities, which they do, right? And they also help to stabilize the electricity grid potentially, acting as a ancillary system or backup system for power when needed quickly. So those are all great things there. So hopefully other states will also adopt this kind of language or at least some type of form protecting the Bitcoin miners where they are not getting punished for using a lot of electricity. Okay, and so that's the only good news we have here. Let's take a look at how Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners did this week. So with that one, as always, we always look at the green chart and the red charts. The green is how far the miners have come up from their 52-week lows. The red is still how far away the miners are from their 52-week highs. As you can see, Core Scientific has done the best so far. We know it's because of their bankruptcy and everything else, so it got punished pretty badly. But it has bounced off of that, which is nice to see. So it is up 695% right now. It's still down 96% from its 52-week high right now. Cypher, on the other hand, has done a terrific job here. It's up 509% from its bottom, and it's only away 36% away from the 52-week high. So it has done as well as far as getting back up as pretty much Bitcoin has. Bitcoin right now is up 79%, but it's only away 35% from its all-time high. So those two are kind of linked together here pretty closely as it is. DigiHost is up 406%, down 54. Argo is up 311, down 83. Iris is up 193, down 78. BitDigital is up 186, down 51. Riot 181, down 45. Marathon 156 and down 65. Bitfarm is up 144, down 73. Hive is up 137, down 66. And Mawson is up 136, down 91. They're still way off from their 52-week highs. DMG is up 127, down only 56, so pretty good there. Hut 8 is up 115, down 65. TerraWolf is up 85, down 87 still. Bitcoin, like we said, is up 79, down 35. Sphere 3D is up 52 and down 81. CleanSpark is up 40% and still 77% away from its all-time high, or 52-week high. Okay, so there's that. As far as how the miners did this week, we had a short week. It was only 4 days. So we're tracking only for the 4 days where they close on the 4th day. And then Bitcoin, we're tracking Friday to Friday, basically on the close on that one. So with that one, we can see here that a lot of the miners were in the red and a couple of them were in the green. But we'll take a look at the chart here. It makes it nice and easy to take a look at where things stacked up for the 1 week. Core Scientific was up 7.24%. TerraWolf up 6.38%. Cypher was up just barely 0.28%, or Sphere was up just barely 0.28%. Cypher was up 0, was flat on the week. BitDigital was down 1.3%. Hive was down 1.8%. Bitcoin was actually down almost 2%. So all of those miners on top did better than Bitcoin this week. And then these down here did worse. Iris was down 2.2%. Bitfarms down 5.1%. DMG down 5%. DigiHost down 5.4%. Riot down 8.3%. Marathon down 8.4%. Hut down 9.1%. Argo down 11.38%. CleanSpark down 12.2%. Mawson down 13.2% as well. That's on a weekly. If we look at the 4-week chart here really quick, we can see here that where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is up 1.83% from 4 weeks ago. And the following miners did better. So Bitfarms is up 4.55%. Hive is up 5.9%. Sphere is up 6.6%. Mawson is up 10.7%. Riot is up 13%. BitDigital is up 19.6%. And TerraWolf is up 63.9%. So TerraWolf has done really good here in the last 4 weeks. Ones that did worse are Cypher is only up 0.43 in the last 4 weeks. Iris is up 0.34. CleanSpark is down 0.41. Marathon is down 2.3. DigiHost is down 3.6. DMG down 3.9. Hut down 10.6, along with Core Scientific. Argo down 11.9 from 4 weeks ago. If we look at the 8 weeks really quick here as well, see how things stacked up. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's up 13.68%, so the following miners did better. Cypher's up 22.6%. Riot is up 39%. TerraWolf is up 58% again on that one. So they did the best here in the 4 weeks and the 8 weeks. And let's see here. Ones that did worse is Marathon's only up 3.6%. BitDigital is up 2.0%. Hive is actually down 4.1%. Mawson is down 5.9%. Core is down 7.9%. DigiHost is down 9.7%. DMG down 12.1%. Hut down 16.4%. Bitfarms down 17.1%. Argo down 20%. Iris down 20.2%. Sphere down 26.6%. CleanSpark down 27.8%. And then finally on the 12-week chart, let's take a look at that one. And this was right after, well, 12 weeks, so we're going back to pretty much beginning of the year here. Core Scientific is up 254% from then. Cypher is up 111, sorry. DigiHost is up 52%. Iris up 51%. Riot up 47%. Bitcoin's up 23% so far, so that's pretty good. So all of those have done better, and then the ones below did worse. BitDigital is down up only 20%. Terrorwolf up 13, Mawson up 12, Hive up 2, Marathon down -1%, CleanSpark down 7.5, DMG down 7.6, Hut down 12.5, Argo down 14.4, Bitfarms down 20, and Sphere 3D down 21 for the week. So we can see here that we have had a pretty mixed week here, this week at least, this past week, but we did have almost, I would say, pretty good 3 weeks of positive numbers for the miners and for Bitcoin for the most part. And then we had 3 weeks where we were in the red. We had 1 week in the green, 1 week in red, and then we had a nice 4 or 5 weeks here in the green here, right after the first of the new year. So we'll see if we're just having a little break here again and possibly going with another 3 weeks of green this coming week and then the following 2 weeks, but we'll see how that's all going to play out. All right. But it's kind of nice to kind of see how things are progressing here. And as you can see, a lot of the miners are not performing as well as Bitcoin is. Let's see where Bitcoin, if we look at it here, I mean, a lot of them are, but there's a couple that are obviously not performing quite as well. Let's see here. There it is. Bitcoin. So Sphere 3D, CleanSpark obviously are concerned. They're not performing quite as well as Bitcoin or some of the other miners as well. And anybody that's above probably, what is it, 79? So we're looking at 158% or better is like 2x. So we got pretty much everybody from Marathon all the way through Core has done at least 2x, if not higher, than Bitcoin. Okay. So that's it for Bitcoin on the weekly and the miners. Let's take a look at Marathon. So Marathon, is Marathon possibly ever going to get back to their previous all-time high, which was back in November, I believe, of 2021, if my memory serves me correct. So this is kind of generic information here that we do have. We're going to take a look at then and now numbers, kind of draw parallels between it, maybe pull out some stats a little bit as well, and then see where, well, Marathon price would have to be, the number of shares that they have, and Bitcoin price where it would have to be as well, and what they would possibly have to be mining after the halving event to possibly get them back to the all-time high of their market cap being above, I think it was 7 billion, and the believe their stock price was over $70 as well. So we'll see what it's all going to take, okay? So let's take a look at the numbers that we do have here, and I'll try to point everything out to you guys. Okay, so then and now for Marathon. We're looking back at November 9th of 2021. This is kind of where Marathon kind of peaked at that point. On that day, they had a market cap here of, didn't want that. Want this one. This one. So they peaked right here at 7.581 billion on that day. Stock price at that point was 76.09 per share. At that time, based on the market cap divided by the stock price, came up with about 99.6 million shares for them. And Bitcoin at that point was at 66,944. So pretty much when Bitcoin peaked, so did Marathon at that same time. Okay, looking at it now, Marathon currently is at 1.33 billion in market cap. Their stock price is $7.98. Shares outstanding is 167 million right now, calculated based on stock price, market cap. That's how I'm getting that. Bitcoin price right now is about 28,000, roughly, right around there. And then here was what we have as far as the changes that we have from then to now. So market cap is down 6.24 billion for Marathon. Stock price is down $68.11. Shares is down 67.66 million shares have been added to the coffers there. Bitcoin price is down 38,891 from that time. And if you look at the market cap, it's down 82% from there. Stock price is down 89.5. Shares is actually up 67.9% from that time frame. And Bitcoin price is down 58%. Okay. So just some general background information on it. And this is kind of what they were producing back then and kind of now. So they reported in, obviously, November, their production for October numbers, which came in at 476 Bitcoin here for the month. Petahash at that time, or exahash, however you want to look at it, was 3.2 exahash or 3,200 petahash. BTC per petahash efficiency was 0.488 at that time. Bitcoin price obviously was at 66,944. Revenue would have equated to about 31.8 million on that time frame for the month. So per share, that was basically 32 cents per share. And then if we take the forward price, I'm looking forward PE ratio basically. And the way we took that was we took the market cap at that time, which was 7.7 billion, divided that by the monthly revenue, which is this times 12 months rolling, right, forward looking, and came up with the 19.83 here possibly as the metric to use for where would they have to get to this time around. This time around, they reported that they mined 825 Bitcoin here in March. Petahash, they are at, petahash 11,500. That equates to 11.5 exahash. BTC per petahash right now, you can see that it's basically half of what it was back in 2021, right? Just 2 years later, not even 2 years later, it's a year and a half later, roughly. You can see how the network hash rate has reduced their, the rewards and everything else. Bitcoin price obviously now is at 28,053. Revenue based on this is about 23 million, right? So we're taking the current market cap, dividing it by the monthly revenue times 12, and we get a per share of 0.13 and a forward PE of 481. It's kind of like what I'm calculating right now, okay? So these numbers are going to be used in follow-up screens as well, so you guys are aware of that. So to reach previous all-time highs in the market cap, all-time high market cap would be divided by future shares added. So I'm adding actually like 30 million shares to it from now until sometime next year if Bitcoin starts going back up, right? And what would it actually take? So we're actually using the previous all-time high market cap was 7.581 billion. Currently, I'm estimating that at sometime next year, maybe they'll have about 197 million shares out. It's just an estimate, and I think they have right now 167 million shares. So we're just adding 30 million into that as well. Not much of a dilution. I think that's only like, what is that? 15%, 20% dilution possibly this for the next year or so. And we would basically need the stock price to be at $38.42 at that time to be at the 7.58 billion market cap that it reached back in November of 2021. Obviously, the shares have increased from where they were, 96,000 or 96 million compared to 197 million. That's going to obviously lower your stock price based on that by about half. That's kind of what we're seeing here, right? The last time they were at 76. All right, where was it? Here it is. They were, where did I have it? I had it here someplace. Market cap, stock price, $76. There it is. So we did have that, and that's basically half of that now based on the number of stocks currently out. Okay, so that's kind of where we would have to get to. So possibility at forward PE of 4.32. What are the chances of that possibly happening? And where would Bitcoin have to be at that point? There are some things that we're also looking at as far as assumptions. So based on what they reported mining this past month being at 11.5 exahash, that is pretty close to being half of where they are supposed to be by the end of this year at 23 exahash. And based on that number, if we look at how much they produced as far as Bitcoin is concerned, 825, I'm saying that they're going to be possibly at 900 when those are all fully running, right? Because when they installed them in March, the miners were running for the whole month. So I'm guessing maybe they'll get to 90 or 900 Bitcoins for the month at 11.5. Multiply that times 2. Now you're looking at 1,800. But when we get into the next year, into the halving, that's going to mean that they're going to be at approximately 850. You're also going to have network hash rate increases as well. So somewhere around 800 to 850 possibly is where they're going to be mining after the halving event. Okay, and usually Bitcoin starts ramping up before the halving and after the halving, but more so after the halving event as in the past. So based on that, we're looking at assumptions here as 850 Bitcoin per month, petahash 23,500, which is 23.5 exahash roughly. Bitcoin price would have to be at 174,000 at that point for them to generate 148 million revenue and to get a market cap of about 7.6 billion in market cap, where the stock price would be about $38.86 at that point. That's with a forward PE of 432. All right, so we're using that same number. If we wanted to get back up to the same price as before, $78 range, somewhere around there, Bitcoin price would have to go up to about 350,000. That would give them about 298 million revenue. Market cap would be about 15.42 billion at that point, and the stock price around $78 with all that being said. Seeing how Bitcoin, I don't think is going to get to maybe 350,000. I'm looking at maybe closer to 200,000, maybe a little bit above it, but somewhere around between, I'm guessing 160,000 to maybe 240,000 in range is kind of where I'm looking at. So I don't think this is really attainable, especially with such a low forward PE being on that one. Now, we do know that when Bitcoin starts going up in value, a lot of the miner companies get a lot better PE ratios. They go to 30, 40 on those. So I would expect it to go up higher. So let's take a look at it if it was actually the 19.83 that we had back in 2011. If we use that number, then we're looking at the same figures here, 850 Bitcoin mines, same exahash as we had before. Price now, however, would have to be only 37,500 in order to get there, and that would give them a market cap of about 7.5, 7.6 where they were prior as well, and a stock price of about $38.45, right? So that's kind of where we would get to if Bitcoin was at possibly 37,500 if investors were valuing it at 19.83 forward looking. If Bitcoin goes up to 74,500, now we're looking at possibly getting back into the all-time high range on the stock price of $76.38, and market cap would be about 15 billion at that time, based on them making approximately 63 million in revenue on that. Now, if Bitcoin goes up to 150,000, now we're looking at 128 million in revenue, 30 billion market cap, and a stock price of 153. How attainable is that? I don't know if we're going to have the same kind of bull run as we've had in 2021 with the miners, and that's just an unknown. So we use something that's kind of in the middle of it all, and that's going to be using a FPE of 11. So we're kind of between the 4 point something and the almost 19. We're right in the middle range there, and kind of where would Bitcoin have to be for them to get a market cap similar to before in 2011? Bitcoin would have to be basically at 65,000 as it was, and that would give them pretty much the same amount of market cap right there, with the stock price of 36.97. Now, they are going to be obviously mining more here, about almost double what they were mining back then. So that kind of offsets it as well, and should give them enough revenue, I would think, to get them to that market cap, at least the same market cap that they had before. To get to the same price that they had before, the all-time high of around $76, Bitcoin would need to be about 135,000 at that point. If we're using the forward PE of 11, that would generate them about 115 million in revenue roughly a month, and that would give them a market cap of about 15 billion at that point. Now, is that possible? Not sure. 7 point some billion that they were at was pretty high for Bitcoin miners. They did fall down a lot. But if Bitcoin goes up to 150 or higher, then it just all depends on where the FPE goes up, where Bitcoin is, and everything else, where the network hash rate is. That is all going to have offsets on it, okay? But at that point, we could possibly get to maybe $85, something like that, possibly, if that happens. So conclusion is it possible? Well, it's possible, but it all really depends on where Bitcoin is going and how fast it gets there. Especially after the halving event, we've seen it at least we only have one halving event where the miners were included in this as far as being traded. So at that point, a lot of the miners were actually going down into the halving before the halving. Once the halving event happened, that's when they actually started to go up in price and appreciate really well. And they did go up 4,000, 5,000%. I don't know if that's going to happen again this time around. We'll see if it does. But if it does, obviously I do think with one, Marathon has to get to the 23.5 or 23 exahash they wanted to get to. They have to mine approximately 850 Bitcoin per month after the halving event when that happens in order to get there. And they got to be consistent on it, I think, right? They've had a pretty rough year here in 2022. They're starting to get things turned around here in 2023, which is great to see. So I think it is possible for them. It just all depends where Bitcoin goes. If Bitcoin goes up to 150, 200,000, then yeah, they could possibly get to their previous share price of $70 and possibly get a new market cap that's much higher than where it was before. Okay, but let me know what you guys think. Obviously, this is just all speculation, using some math here a little bit on previous events and obviously what we are now in the current event. But we'll see. All right, let me know what you guys thought. So as always, the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members. This will be available to my Patreon members as well. So thank you everyone there for their continued support. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.